Hold on, I'm gonna mute real quick.
Yep.
There we go. What? How did that not? There we go.
Test, test, test.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. This is the microphone testing. Testing. Do you hear me? 1, 2, 3, testing. There we go. I'm done.
Yes, yes, I do. I hear you testing loud and clear. Yes, yes, I do. I hear you testing. And I hear myself now too.
Okay, so I have audio for both of you. I haven't changed anything on audio settings, so we'll just assume that it's probably okay. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab another table so I can set stuff on it so it's not on the same one as my mic so we don't get lots of little noises. Okay. And we're back.
I'm sending out the tweets.
You sending out the Twitters? We got.
Yeah, not that anybody's gonna see it at almost 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
My lord.
I mean, somebody will see it.
It hurts. Hurts me.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'll apologize and explain why we had such a late start when we actually started.
Oh, it's not. It's not a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's such a ginormous deal. Like a pickle, like a dill pickle, you know.
Wait till you see what I tweeted.
But my phone is almost dead. I can't look at the Twitters. I mean, I guess I could.
Nah, you don't have to.
Do-do-do-do. Hey, what is this? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Did I mute everything? Remute everything? Yeah, I remuted everything.
Wait. So it's better that you're late, but I'm not here?
No, I just said better late than never.
Right. Better late than me. Got it. I'm offended. I'm choosing to be offended, even though no offense was meant. I'm just gonna choose to be offended. I know. I'm just mad. You got a bear sitting where I'm supposed to sit almost, and a bear nose in my face.
Listen, I'm the one sitting under the EP banner right now, okay?
That's alright. I moved you over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a ship wheel behind us too. Is that new?
Yeah, because we're setting sail for High Isle.
That's right. So...
Oh my gosh, I could have totally turned our desk into a little, like, ship.
Oh, I would have totally sat on top of it. I would have laughed.
Alright, are we ready to start?
Let's do it.
I mean, I have a none amount of ideas. So,
we have the Lore Master's Archive we're going to read through, and then the schedule rewards for Twitch, and what we're planning for High Isle. Like how we're prepping for High Isle, and sharing how Sasquatch is prepping since he can't join us tonight.
Exactly. How we're
prepping. Got a lot to talk about.
We're all in the process of prepping to get High Isle.
I can never with you. Seriously.
I can never too. Butt up ching. Hey, you want to hear a joke? 2 drums and a cymbal fell off a cliff. Butt up ching.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's do our moment of silence for our last podcast. Just kidding. And
Nail
then,
in the coffin, my terrible jokes.
Nah.
Oh, did you guys see the community spotlight on the person who does 3D models?
Yeah, that was last week's, but I didn't. We didn't cover it because it was an interview.
Okay.
So
that's fine. We don't have to cover it.
No. I don't mind covering it. I just didn't add it because it literally popped up. I think it actually popped up like right before. I think I had already done the show notes, which is why I didn't add it. So I mean, we can if you want, or we can just let it go and bring it up next week since we don't know what's going to be released because that's the High Isle drop.
Oh, we'll have plenty to talk about next week. It's the High Isle drop.
But
I won't be there, probably.
Have everyone there. No. Did Sasquatch say he might not be there as well?
Yeah, he won't be,
Yeah,
so it'll be
he
the two of you.
Okay. Alright. Well, we'll figure it out. And if need be, we can try a different day as well.
Yeah.
Um.
All right. Well, you ready to let's get this shindig rolling?
All right. Well, we're at 6 minutes and 53 seconds, so I'll give it a few seconds. Hello and welcome. Welcome to A Snugpod Cast. I am your host, Never Separate, and I am joined with my 2 lovely co-hosts. Gone Crazy back soon. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Great. And Gwen the Bard. What about you? How are you doing tonight?
Hello. I'm good.
So, we're starting a little late, and apologies for that, but it's for good reason. I have a kid whose mount broke down, and I had to go and replace a shoe on the mount. So that way they could safely get home, and we got that taken care of. But it took me a little while to get home and for us to get started. But we are started, and it's okay because some of you are going to just be listening to this later anyway, right? So we have some show notes and some show prep done, but I haven't had a chance to look at any of it. So I am just going to hush and let someone take the lead. Imagine that. Never's not going to talk. Never.
Clearly.
This is a rare opportunity.
I mean,
I'll
add some oohs and ahs in here every now and then or something, and that way it sounds like I'm at least engaged and not, dozing off like no one's ever done.
Well, see, there's that bear that's sitting next to you that it will definitely probably keep you awake, or at least on edge a little.
Well, I have to watch both sides. You are both wood elves.
We've been over this. We don't follow the meat mandate.
Yeah.
There's a bowl of blueberries right there.
Yeah, it's all. They could all be part of the act, though.
And it's Father's Day, so we can't eat our friend on Father's Day. That would be weird.
There's just too much fur. How am I going to get rid of all that fur?
Well, not for me. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's a defense.
And I like how you slid that in. At least I'll stay awake. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's earlier for you than me. I'll just stand up. I'll just stand my character up here, and then I won't fall asleep because I'm standing up.
I might actually stand up if I start getting sleepy. I have done it.
I know. That's my favorite is when I say to you, are you standing? Because I can hear when we're running a dungeon. I can usually hear your controller if you're standing up.
Yep, it does happen. It definitely does happen. Like, if I don't do something, I'm going to just fall asleep in this chair. So I'm going to stand up, and hopefully that will help. And sometimes it barely helps.
At least you stand up. I just commit and fall asleep and then just say, oops, sorry, I missed my rotation. I fell asleep.
Yep, there went our no death. All because you dozed off.
Well, that's what happens when I make friends with people in other time zones, okay?
Well, I can't help it that we're
Sorry.
so awesome. You should just move to this time zone.
Mm,
Sigic portal.
nah. If they had real life way shrines, I'd come visit.
um, airports.
Way
Yeah,
shrines sound a lot more reliable.
Yeah, I mean, I
truly.
did have trouble with the, the real
Yeah,
life
remember
alternative.
remember how we met in real life? It was because the airport didn't work for you
Right,
in multiple places.
right, yeah. But isn't there that whole thing about when you travel by way shrines or through portals that you could get like splintered or something? Or am I think?
I
No,
mean, you
I'm
could,
no,
but
I'm thinking of
I
Harry
mean,
Potter.
that's yeah, you get splinched or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not Tamriel lore, but that would be
there,
interesting. That's an interesting lore master question. Are there any repercussions to traveling by way shrine?
that would be a good thing to find out.
We should
So
tweet
also, what
that.
happened to the Way Shrine network between like the second era and the fourth era?
Oh,
mm,
look at us, lore hounds. Somebody write that down.
I
don't have a notepad handy or a quill and ink.
ooh. I'll send us a message in Discord. There we go.
Perfect.
All
So
right.
while we're speaking of that, there's some important stuff happening this week. Finally, for us.
You mean us console peasants?
Us console plebs are finally getting High Isle.
We're finally gonna get high, Isle.
You're ridiculous.
I know, I can't help it. I can't bypass a good play on words.
Leave it to the skooma cat to bring
Yeah.
up being high
Isle.
Isle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't forget to pre-order. Well, actually, you know what? I can't even say that because by the time this episode drops, it's too late to pre-order. So I hope you're enjoying the update,
Yeah.
and if you're not enjoying the update, be sure that you put your system in sleep mode so that you can get it downloaded and enjoy the update. Because even if you don't buy High Isle, you'll still get obviously the base game quality of life updates that they always do. The update 34 and whatnot. So yeah, just be sure to do that. Or hopefully you're already enjoying it. And if you are already enjoying it when this comes out, we look forward to hearing from you maybe what some of your favorite things are. So yeah, there you go.
Besides Tales of Tribute,
And
that
sunflowers.
sounds
Besides
like that's
Tales of
everyone's
Tribute,
thing so far.
And
So
that
sunflowers.
has
besides
been
Tales
a
of
thing. Yeah, that has been a thing.
Can you
So
play Tales of Tribute in a field full of sunflowers?
you do not. I can confirm you do not do that. But
Oh, well, that's too bad.
yeah, that is too bad.
I really
Too
hope they
bad.
give us a way to initiate that within our homes. Like a table. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that
We'll
would be
see.
cool.
Tales of Tribute Station.
Yep.
Just like a crafting station, but you like it when you click it, it sends you to the game.
That'd be cool.
Well,
So, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna tell you. I asked what's on our what's in our notes because I have a lifeless uh, magic
We've been
device. What?
we've been covering them. That's why I asked you those questions.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, go ahead.
You know what the next bullet is? What have you been doing to prep? What are you getting ready for?
Have you been doing anything special to prep for High Isle?
Um, no, not enough. Mostly mental preparation, I think. Um, like what am I going to go after first? Um, I'm gonna go get Ember, and she's gonna come along for all of the rest of my adventures henceforth. Right? That's the right. Yeah. Um, and from there, I might just try to go ahead and grind out um, the leads for Oakenso, Oaken Soul Ring. Oh my goodness. Um,
Godspeed and good luck with those Murkmire safe boxes,
yeah.
because man, whoo, they have been the talk of the town.
um, but I've already been like kind of going over in my head what I might do to change up my build a little bit. But like I said, that's just more mental prep than anything else. I'm not actually doing any. I haven't actually done much in game. Inventory management's a never-ending process for me, so uh, to say that I've done that is not true. Um, so I'll have to do it when I log in when it comes out and go from there. What about you
What
guys?
about you going?
Well, I put together a new character outfit. That's what I try to do at the beginning of each chapter based on what we know the zone's going to be like, so that way they are ready to go into the zone and it's not like, walking to the Deadlands and full heavy armor. Uh, so I put together a nice outfit for my character, which I have set. It's in one of her slots, and we're not wearing it until we actually go to High Isle. That way I don't get bored with it too early.
Fancy. I
But
actually do
otherwise,
that too. Oh, go
you
ahead.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet because I'm gonna be honest. I've been extremely lazy prepping for this chapter. Like I haven't done anything. I also am very lazy with my build. I hardly ever change it. It's pretty much the same as it's always been. I just tend to adjust like champion points or things like that as we go forward and as they update things. But yeah, this build is pretty much the same build that I've had for forever. Um, so it's probably not super optimized, but I don't usually touch it too much. But I do like to do the outfit stuff. I'm a little opposite though. I kind of wait until I go there, and then a lot of times I go to the outfit station in the location and change it there, just for funsies. So, just depends.
Okay, cool.
I think I should
Yeah.
amend my previous statement. I forgot about some things that I've kind of been doing, but it's less about prepping for High Isle specifically and more just some general quest log cleanup. Um, which I already discussed that a while back. I finished the Rothgard chapter, DLC, whatever. Um, and I've been going back and going through uh, EP. That's Emmerich, right? We had this conversation last time.
No, that's
Daggerfall.
Mm-mm.
AD.
That's
AD. ED.
Yeah.
ED Emmerich.
Yeah. So I'm on the last zone, and I uh, should get that finished up soon. But I don't know that I'll get it done before the release of High Isle because I uh, may not get around to actually getting to do much between now and then with work and everything else. But we'll see. But that is the big thing I've done is trying to go ahead and get done with some other storylines. So hopefully I can actually jump into this one. I'm way behind and haven't done any of the chapter DLCs. I started Morrowind at some point a while back on a different character, but I'm going to start over with this one since this is the one I do everything on. And so I've got a lot of catch up to do, but mustard.
I'm gonna be honest, me too. I mean, I've done that a little bit as well. I have been doing a little bit of questing here and there. I've just been really, really busy with work, so I haven't had as much in-game time as normal. Um, so it hasn't. I didn't get quite as much done as I wanted to. Like I was working through Southern Elsewhere because I never finished that, and I got like three-quarters of the way through, and I just haven't had time to finish because I like to sit down and quest in big chunks, and I just haven't had a chance to do that, unfortunately. I haven't even finished Fargrave. Like I'm so bad about it. The last DLC that I completely finished was Markarth. Um, and
See,
that
I'm
was a
good.
great one. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Uh, but yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm really good at finishing the story. I get it done in the first couple of days. It's everything else I suck at. So I'm gonna try to be different with High Isle. One of the main like gameplay things I've been doing to prep is actually not playing. I know
Amazing.
it sounds counterintuitive, but
No, it's great because you're not
when
burned
you
out.
know you're gonna want to like sit down and sit through all that dialogue and story, and at first I thought I was just gonna run and grab Ember too, because let's face it, she is supreme, or she sounds like she's gonna be supreme, and I changed my mind. I almost have, like, I have Bastion's level maxed out, and he's almost maxed out on rapport. So close. Oh no! Look, title screen.
You disappeared.
Title screen. 1 second. I didn't move fast enough.
Womp womp.
That's okay. Your audio's still good.
Yeah, we
So,
still gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright. So I'm going to just take Miri and have her travel with me, because I have not been using Miri. Now that I realize how we can change their talking settings, I'm going to basically mute her, because God, I can't stand her commentary. Sorry, Miri fans. To each their own, right?
That's true.
And I'm just going to travel with her and slowly keep going through the zone until I run into Ember, and then I'll have Ember join me.
Love that. Yeah, the other thing too is, speaking of questing, we got to help some guildies last night, which was really fun.
That was great. We inadvertently were prepping for High Isle by running through those stories again.
Yeah, we
helping
did.
Other people prep for it.
We had a couple guildies that needed to do story mode because they had done some pugs for Shipwright's Regret and Coral Airy, and they had missed some of the secret bosses or hadn't gotten to do the story in some of them. So we ended up running with Skullduggery and N7 Shadow Marshal through both of those. Skullduggery had to leave after Shipwright's Regret, which was a bummer because I wish that she could have stayed with us for the other one because she needed to do Coral Area again. But we'll do it another time. We'll do it another time again as needed. But it was really nice to be able to group up. You know, we typically run our dungeon group pretty consistently when we get into a groove of things, but I haven't gotten to just like group with other guildies in a while, so that was nice.
It was, yeah. You caught me like at the perfect time. I was about to like get ready for bed, and you're just like, "Hey, you want to heal?" I'm like, yeah, I'll heal. Oh my gosh, we haven't done one of these in a while. Let's do this.
Yeah, and then I saw that the cat was home, and I was like, "Hey, you want a tank?"
And then I ended up not tanking.
That's okay. You did great.
Yeah. I kind of hate that I didn't get to do Shipwrights again, because that's probably one of my favorite dungeons now.
Right? We all agree.
So
it's
good.
so pretty.
Yeah, that and just the ghosts. There's the one of the first boss I think that you fight. That's like the jaded lover or whatever. That's like screaming about
the secret one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
she's
just
awesome.
So intense, and it was almost like reminiscent of watching like old ghost movies or something. It was great.
Well, how did I call it yesterday? Like we were running through a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Scooby-Doo were actually scary.
Yeah, it felt like a Scooby-Doo episode, but in a good way. Like great.
Oh, Scooby-Doo is awesome.
Yeah,
are we allowed to talk about Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Sure we are.
The Witch's Ghost counts as a wisp mother, right?
Sure. Well, the other thing you may have noticed is if anybody's watching us or listening to us, you may have noticed that we're missing our fourth buddy here. Sasquatch wasn't with us last night at the dungeons, or he isn't with us tonight because he is taking a vacation from Tamriel. He deserves it. He's been through a lot real life with moving and all sorts of things. So we miss you, bud, but we'll get some dungeon time and some podcast time in with him soon, hopefully. So once things get all settled in. But we have a bear in his place.
Yep. Whenever he's not here, we got a bear chilling right there. There's a giant, like, chunk of Fargrave ham in front of them to keep them satisfied. Keep them from eating the Khajiit, because Sasquatch requested that when he is not here, a bear sits next to the Khajiit. So
Which is why I
there's
moved
a bear
over a
sitting
seat.
next to a Khajiit.
Did not like the sound of bear breathing in my ear. So I had to
Well, there's a cat breathing in my ear, so.
meow.
Meow.
Hey, we're not going to talk about this right meow, okay?
Okay. Not right meow.
Not right meow.
What we should talk about right meow is how ridiculous that transition is, but also how let's talk about these here Twitch drops, okay?
There's the ridiculous, yeah.
Let's talk about these here Twitch drops. So when we talked in last week about how you can watch for 2 hours and get something, and then 4 hours and get something, and that was great because I thought that then when the horse came out, it was just going to be like, hey, watch 2 more hours and get your horse. That's absolutely 100% not what happened.
No,
What happened
it's
was,
not.
hey, would you like to watch 8 hours of Twitch again for the same things you already have and then get a horse?
But there's a couple things. Well, for me anyway, it was like a weird experience because I was kind of like angry we had to, like what you said, we had to like watch more Twitch. Because last week, as console players, I couldn't find any streams that were doing no spoiler high isle stuff, right? So I had to like mute it and put a thing in front of the screen so I could like still like kind of see like the chat side at least, so I can like see the screen moving in case my laptop times out. But in order to get the drops, so I had to like kind of weird rig it because I couldn't find anyone that was doing no spoiler streams.
Oh, that hurts me for you.
But this week I got like super lucky. Like everyone's doing no spoiler streams. They're like just playing Tales of Tribute, which, you know what, I will watch your stream and I will vibe, but heck if I know what you're doing. So that, like, no matter how hard people try explaining that, I just need to play through the tutorial myself. But I ended up watching Madigan's stream, and it was just like a party, and there was 0 spoilers, and I got all my drops, and when you get to the crates, you get 2 more crates. If you already got crates, you get 2 more crates. And I got a Setch Cub out of one of those crates, so I was pretty happy with that.
Woohoo! Yeah, speaking of Madigan, that was a pretty big week for him too. We've had a couple streamers that are, people that have played ESO for a while who have had anniversaries. Avron the other day was saying...
Yeah, he had his 3-year anniversary. That's ridiculous. 3 years consistently doing Twitch? Like, way to go!
His 3-year anniversary, and then also he finally, like, showed us himself. Maddie has always had the little avatar down at the bottom, that's his Snow Khajiit, and he has this whole, like, background and lore of how he's the last of the Snow Khajiit, and, everybody knows that he's plays the trumpet, and he does all of these cool, fun things, but no one had ever seen him, and then for his 3-year reveal, he, like, teased everybody with different things, and then now we know what he looks like. That's so fun. Like, super, super nice, chill, down to earth, like great streamer. So totally family friendly, very wholesome, just good all around dude. So I was really glad to see that big turnout for him for his anniversary the other day. So that was
sure.
Awesome. So
yeah. So if you haven't checked out Madigan's stream, things we recommend for family friendly streams.
Yes, for sure. I actually had him on for a majority of my day while I was at work. I just turned my laptop on and I did kind of the same thing to get some of these drops. I'm not done yet. I've got a few more hours left, so I'll probably do the same sort of thing like tomorrow or whatever. You just have to get those 8 hours in before the 26th. So that's the good part, is since High Isle drops in the next few days for console, I think now the console players will jump on if they haven't already as well. Because it's not going to be as spoilery for them.
If you're really scared of spoilers, you still have that time. So that's also nice.
Yeah. So he had a big anniversary. Avron, posted something about how she's been going since last January, I guess, or yeah, I think it was last January when she said that she was finally gonna do some streaming on her own, and people told her like, "Oh, ESO is a dying game. There's no way that people will watch that," and here she is. So lots of streamers with anniversaries right now because they always, I feel like, land around the time of releases because
Well,
people start streaming then.
Because there's a release, there's hype. It's also like spring and summer when people normally have more free time and are looking for something new to do. So a lot of reasons why there would be a lot of Twitch anniversaries this time of year.
Man.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for
congrats
ours?
to all those peeps.
We'll have to.
What are we gonna do for ours?
Yeah, we'll have to plan
When did we
that.
even start?
Extra life. Excuse me, I had something in my throat.
I suck at remembering anniversaries. You guys gotta do that for me.
Yeah, I just have to
Yeah,
go
like
back
I
and
said,
look at when we recorded
extra.
that first episode.
Extra life.
What's that?
Extra life is what we'll do for our anniversary. Okay.
We don't have to do that for our anniversary, but it could be fun.
We can probably make that happen. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
another time, though.
We'll talk about that.
Not right now.
Now that we got all of our Twitch talk out of the way.
Yeah.
On to
So
other stuff.
yeah, we can. We haven't done
Feeling
lore
all
in
twitchy.
weeks. It's been we have not touched lore in weeks, and guess what came out this week?
But
Finally,
yeah,
finally,
we get a bunch of lore.
so much lore, and lore that we don't know because it's from the Lore Masters archives. So they do like a question and answer session. Pretty much, I think they've done it every chapter now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to go read the old ones then. I did not know that.
Yeah, they've done. You can submit. So basically, what you do is different people from the community submit questions to the Lore Masters archives, and then they get answered in character, basically answered by the characters. So for this one, Lady Arabelle is the one who actually is doing the answering, and it's pretty fun because she has a little introduction before they actually get into the questions. So she says, "Gentle readers, I bid you salutations from Mandrake Manor, my home on High Isle. I can hear rain pelting the window panes as I put quill to parchment. A delightful evening shower after a day of beautiful weather and pleasant company. I must admit, it is not often that I am asked to write on matters of state and society. In truth, my fingers are rarely ink-stained these days for any reason, but the request came from Lord Bacaro himself, along with a fine bottle of Abitian brandy. So given my new role as a troubleshooter for the Society of the Steadfast, I'm happy, even delighted, to scrawl these responses to your considered questions. Imagine me, if you must, feet up before a roaring fire with a generous pour in my glass. Let's get to it."
When
Super
did
fun little
Britons
intro.
Yeah, right? Okay, so we're going to read through this. I'm going to read the questions, and then you're going to go through and read the answers.
Yeah.
I know all of these questions are submitted by actual players and stuff. Some player names sound like they could be specific Tamriel races, so I might read some of them with a voice. If I read yours and I got the race wrong, I apologize. I don't know all of you players personally. Most of them I'm probably just gonna read regularly. But I don't want to offend. I understand these are actual player questions, so I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer, because I normally like doing voices when we read through our lore sessions. Alright, we'll get started. When did Britons first settle in Steris? How impactful of a Durrani influence was there on the first settlers, and how has the culture of the Arpeggio historically been affected by the shift of power from elven to human hands? Submitted by Cosmo Nova.
An excellent question to start us out, my dear. You have given me an opportunity to pull a volume from the works of Trilum Helidrin. Crisp, intelligent writing, and fine publishing from the University of Gwillem. Trilum notes that the first proper settlers on the Isles were Druids, who arrived sometime around the year 330 of the First Era. These religious migrants were caught between a rock and a hard place. The Durrani elves on one side and the zealots at the heart of the rising Alessian Empire to the other. To my knowledge, the sisters archipelago is one of the few spits of rock in the Abetian that were not claimed by an expansive elven empire, which is not to say that the elves have never ruled here. More on that below. The original culture of the islands, then, was Druidic. Imported from the ancient forests of High Rock, Druidic beliefs can be seen as solemn response to the high-minded mercantile nature of their elven overlords. The Druids of old saw Y'ffre and nature herself as the antidote to the heartless deprivations of their homeland. So in a way, these early days here on the Isles marked the start of the modern Druiddom. The line of their ancient kings would come to an end, the circles were formed, and their stewardship of nature allowed them to put down roots, so to speak, that survive to this day. Woohoo, Druids!
Woot woot.
Woot woot! Love that.
Same. It has come to my attention, the Steers were once what the Sinistrals called home. How has that influenced the culture of the Druids living on this archipelago, if at all? Furthermore, these islands seem to be rather close to Thras. Unless my maps are somehow incorrect, are Slode a concern? Inari of Great House Telvanni.
A truly fascinating tale to be found here, so thank you for asking. The Sinistral Mer, or left-handed elves, were said to be the enemies of the Na Totambu royalty of the Yokudan continent. If you're unfamiliar with Yokuda, gentle reader, the ancestral home of the Redguard is located far to the west of the Sisters Islands. So many beautiful tales from that part of the world, I would recommend the tome, The Ubiquitous Sinking Isle, for an interesting analysis of lost Yokuda. Tales that survived this somewhat eventful period in Sisters' history speak of refugees from Yokuda landing on High Isle, Galen, and Amenos roughly 300 years after the Druids. Antiquarians have confirmed this through a number of physical remnants, though to answer your question, my dear, I don't feel personally that these new arrivals had a significant impact on Druidic culture. The Druid Circle's reaction to these invaders was to fade into the wilds as much as possible, hiding in caves along the waterfront and deep in the jungles of Amenos. As for the Slode, well, I would say they're always a concern, aren't they? I find them quite concerning. As far as their physical proximity to Thras, it's worth noting that the maps show a Thracian reef, or anything of that nature, are by necessity mapping a mostly underwater civilization to the islands we landwalkers use to navigate. There have been no Slode attacks here on High Isle in centuries, and I'll raise my glass in hopes that there are none here anytime soon.
Despite now being decidedly Brittonic archipelago, there are signs of habitation from many different races in the Sisters archipelago, possibly including those from sunken Yakuta? By Aramithius, writer in Uncertainty.
He's a lore seeker.
Ah, okay. Not on PlayStation, apparently.
He's not. He's PCEU, so he does Written in Uncertainty, which is another podcast. He is like collegiate level lore, folks. So sorry to take like a quick time out.
You're
but
fine.
If you are looking for incredibly knowledgeable, well done lore, definitely give Written in Uncertainty a check out because it's amazing. And he's just a very awesome person. So
just keep the Tylenol handy because it's so deep your head will hurt.
Your head will hurt. Oh man.
And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy too.
Yeah. So let's see how Lady Arabelle answers. She says, "An excellent question. Expanding on the discussion of the Sinistral Mer, your cohort asked above. It's true, Bretons have left many footprints in the sand here in the Sisters. Unfortunately, lasting signs of Yokudan diaspora habitation are next to nil. We've already discussed the refugees from the west landing and conquering these beautiful isles. Whether they were indeed left-handed elves, or as some scholars argue, Yokudan enemies of the Totambu, given that name, they held the Sisters in their grip for a few hundred years after their wave of conquest swept the Sisters. But as we all know, some waves crash harder than others, and late in the first millennium, Frandar Hunding's Ragata sailed past the archipelago. Their conquests in the Alakir have become the stuff of legend, but their relatively brief stop on High Isle cleared it of Western invaders with a swift and ruthless exhibition of the sword singer tradition. Whether the previous invaders were Mer or not, they were clearly enemies of the Ragada. As a result, though some druid tales tell of this brief period in the island's history, few and far between are the tangible signs of their passing. Certainly, we have none of the beautiful ruins or architectural elements to be seen in the desert near Sentinel or the steppes near Halland's Stand, and I hope that does not disappoint. I can assure you we have many beautiful ruins and castles to view here, but they are all of the old and mouldering Brittonic style. More's the pity.
I've heard rumors of strange deer folk and crab folk sightings within the archipelago. If they truly exist, are these beings forms of beast folk? Do they have cultures of their own? Or are they more akin to the Yagra, which have been plaguing Somerset of late? Licking his sap.
What a name. Amazing.
It was great. This is why I chose this part, in case anyone was curious. Alright.
Ah, yes, the fauns and the hadalids. Fascinating creatures, though by their very nature not terribly well understood. My apologies, dear. I should not say creature. They have kith and kin, signs of culture and history all their own, but in nearly all circumstances, the interactions between men or mer and these beast folk are violent, painful, and cruel. The hadalids are, as you say, a sort of crab folk, being that lives primarily underwater. Much of the mystery of their culture stems from their primary aquatic nature, and for all we know, they may have vast underwater cities beneath the waves. On land, they form stopover settlements from local materials, bringing with them resources, food, weapons, and a surprising panoply of domesticated creatures from their ocean home. In their defense, the hadalid propensity for violence and isolation may be understandable. They are ancient enemies of the Slode, and whole campaigns from the two are said to take place on the seabed floor. Ooh. Fauns, meanwhile, are local to the sisters. They fill an ecological niche similar to goblins back on mainland Tamriel and are about as charming and welcoming as those famously murderous and ill-tempered beings. Just why the fauns reject other cultures with such violence is hard to say. But as study into goblin culture has been in fits and starts because of a propensity for the subjects to kill the researchers, an understanding of faun dialect and tradition is sadly lacking.
That's cool. So there's other races there. They may not be fully a potential playable style race, but there are other races with cultures. That's nice.
There are, and the fauns are pretty gnarly looking. Yeah.
So it's not like a deer person. I'm picturing a deer person when they say faun.
It is a deer person, but just the way that they walk and stuff, it's more. Imagine a goblin from like Skyrim and a deer person together, and that's why it's interesting.
I understand why you use the word gnarly.
Yeah. I mean, I've only come across, like I said, I've barely played on PC. I've only come across a couple of them, but I do remember thinking to myself, that looks really cool and also really weird.
All right.
So.
Well, do the Druids of High Isle have any kind of relation to the weirds of Glenumbra, such as the Beldama weird? Submitted by Nightlord.
A perfectly reasonable question, my dear, and one I had myself before I was able to speak to a few representatives of the true way here on High Isle. In short, yes. The Weird and the Druids are branches from the same tree, so to speak. They both stem from ancient people living in the woods and moors of High Rock long, long ago. The difference in their faith and function is cultural. And I apologize in advance, as the Druids I spoke to were perhaps less politic than they might have been in describing the split. From the stone lore point of view, the Weird choose to live as half-men, to essentially prostrate themselves before nature and do its bidding. Some Druids, it seems, see the Weird as little more than children playing a grand game of make-believe. In contrast, the Druids of the Stone Lore, Eldertide, and Firesong circles are guardians and champions of nature. They steward the growth of forests and defend ancient sites of power from the cruel influence of civilization. Each of these three circles, in turn, have their own viewpoint of how best to accomplish this goal.
I'm so excited to meet the Druids.
Me too!
Okay. How does being fully surrounded geographically by sea, instead of land, affect the local Bretons? and general High Isle populations. Culture in comparison to other High Isle areas such as Glenumbra, High Rock areas such as Glenumbra, Stormhaven, and Rivenspire. Submitted by Cerulean.
Cerulean? I don't know. Cerulean?
It definitely seems high elf. Okay.
Yes. I would agree.
I think the bear
says, the bear agrees. In many ways, you'll see some of the same sights and sounds here in Gunfallen Bay as in Wayrest, Evermore, or any of the large cities back on the mainland. You can buy sweet rolls by the dozen. Drown your sorrows with cheap grog and pay a bard for a stirring rendition of Three Hearts as One. The biggest differences you're likely to encounter are the cultural influences from a roaring maritime trade, the pageantry of the knightly orders, and the wellspring of the druidic faith. For example, every few weeks the locals here in Gunfallen Bay celebrate something they call Angler's Day. It's an informal holiday to Kinnereth, a local patron of sailors and fisherfolk. Taverns sell fish-based dishes at a discounted price, and anglers find themselves drinking for free wherever they choose to hang their hat for the night. Sailor talk has ended up as common turns of phrase in the local language as well. If someone calls you to show up somewhere on the bell, for example, they're telling you to arrive on time. Someone might call you a targrip, which means they think you're reliable, perhaps even a friend. Druidic words have also made their way into the local parlance, though fewer and farther between. If someone calls you a sandpiper, it's a sort of derogatory term for a person from off the Isles. The Druidic word for welcome, Vialten, or pronounced Valchen, might escape from a few lips now and again. If someone stubs their toe and shouts, "Dreg," well, that's sort of an impolite curse fancied up by a lovely druid word.
That's fun. Alright.
So you mean the gear that I'm wearing is a curse?
No, you're wearing drag or droog.
Not drip.
Drag. Kingslayer.
Okay.
Drag or drag. Drach.
Drich.
I don't know.
Druch. I like to make it sound like I got something caught in my throat. You know, I gotta spit it out.
Cat has a furball.
Yeah.
Machine has a furball.
I'm wearing the Kingslayer set. Okay.
Drag is actually drag. Yeah, I don't know.
It says drag.
Yeah. Drag.
It's Dre with a G, so drag.
Yeah, I would say that. All right.
Carry on.
What other foods do Bretons of High Isle eat apart from crabs and possibly sunflower seeds? Dentipos.
A fine question, Santi. Since my retirement, I've enjoyed the cuisine from my old home in High Rock to the very tip of the Elsewhere Sands. And by the 8, do these people know how to cook, especially if you like seafood.
Yes.
If you have the honor of sitting down at a noble's table, you'll be treated to glorious luxuries like 100-year bisque and parrot and pumpkin salad and grilled sweet and sour sea adder. In a tavern, especially on Angler's Day, you'll have a wide variety of simple filling options like Breton bubble and squeak, apple-baked fish, chowders including fish, clams, and shrimp, and all varieties of seafood, and my personal favorite, mud crab fries. Delicious!
This is the second time Angler's Day has been mentioned. I'm hearing new holiday. Potential new holiday.
That'd be cool.
My sister travels more than I and regales me with much ridiculous tales. After returning from Waywest, she spoke of Breton betrothals. This one understands the concept of marriage for political gain, alliances that benefit all, but my sister also speaks of nobles who instead keep the family strong and pure by marrying each other. This for surely, she jests. I ask in strict confidence because I wish not to offend in my upcoming journey to the sisters. Sugars or milk?
Sugars, it may be the brandy, or the fact that I've been at this for a few hours, but this question is exciting. I could share with you many, many, many stories. There was in particular a sordid party at Castle Ravenwatch about 10 years ago, where a certain young noblewoman and her brother... Well, I digress. Is this salacious rumor rooted in reality? To a degree. Certainly in ages past, the nobility of High Rock entertained notions that we in modern times would find most peculiar. For example, a historian I once traveled with and loved to amuse me with stories of pagan rituals in the high country beyond Kerbel's Hollow in the Bangorai region. But much like this man, stories of paint-slick bodies and mind-altering concoctions, blood purity customs make for excellent tales around the campfire, and very poor grist for a respected historian. For more recent specific examples, you need to look no further than the so-called Rancer's War. In the wake of the ill-advised uprising led by King Rancer, rumors spread from every tavern along the Stormhaven High Road that the now-defeated upstart had been keeping company with every sibling in the royal line. His daughter Raelle, the fulcrum upon which the conflict itself had started, was likewise rumored to be the result of one of these genealogically complex couplings. Nonsense, all of it, but it makes for a good tale over a tankard of ale, and so much like the rumor your sister passed along, you will hear stories of pure-blood relationships arise every few years. I suggest you listen to them with the proverbial pile of salt at your fingertips. But thank you for asking. And with that, my friends, I believe I shall call it a night. My glass has grown empty, the fire has gone cold, and I imagine I will have a full day tomorrow working beside Lord Bacaro. Many preparations to make yet. I wish you all a fine eve, with fondest hopes that this has been as entertaining to read as it has been to write.
And it was.
Very
I
nice.
love her personality.
She is wonderful, yes.
I cannot wait to, dig into the story with her in it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. So that was fun. Those were good questions. A lot of them dealt with a lot of the druidic stuff and just the history of kind of the Isles itself. Without getting spoilery, because obviously, on console it hasn't released yet, but what I will say is there is ample ability to be able to find the lore books that are the history of High Isle, or the history of the Sisters Isles. I have barely played the chapter, and I have come across, I think 7 or 8 of them already, just doing very minimal stuff. And they are very, very good reads. So I would highly encourage you, or anybody that's on console that comes across those, stop and actually take the time to read them. I mean, yes, reading them in order, of course, would be helpful. But even if you jump around in the order, I think I've read 4, 8, 2, and maybe 7. You can still get the idea of the timeline and kind of how things happened in the Isles, which is pretty fun. So definitely be on the lookout for those as you start your adventure in High Isle, because they are well worth the read. For sure.
Very cool.
Cool.
So you say that they've done one of these lore things with every chapter?
I don't remember if it's every chapter. Chapter. Hello. Every chapter. Every chapter, or if it's just been once a year or twice a year. But I do know that Layman Tuttle wrote a few of them previously.
Where the community gets to submit questions?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I bet we could find it if I went back and looked.
Well, I'm just thinking we need to make sure we jump on the next one, because we have questions. We need
Well, they had
answers.
they had a submission thing where you could just post your question to Twitter for a while.
Yeah. Well, they had it on
I
Twitter,
remember
and they
seeing
also
that.
had it on the forum, because I brought it up on our first show, I think.
I remember.
Yep.
There were only 59 people at the time that had said anything.
There was a lot more than that by the end of it.
Yeah.
But I think we should definitely try to get something in there, because I mean, like the way shrine thing, that's a significant question, and without that information, someone could try to way shrine without proper medication and end up in a bad
It's also
situation.
something we
I
should
don't know.
probably go check, because who knows, that might actually already be out there and we just don't know it yet, and there's people listening who are like, how do you not know this
Right.
now? You crazies.
How are you even doing a show without knowing such basic information? Jeez.
Looks like, just for funsies, because I checked,
Of course you did.
the the Lore Masters archives do have, so they do one every once in a while, like they've covered certain locations, but it looks like the last Q&A one might have been for Murkmire.
Oh, that's a long
there-
time ago.
Yeah, there's a Lore Masters archive Murkmire Q&A. There's like a part 1 and a part 2 that they did with Lauren Schick, the lore master that was before Layman Tuttle. And then I could have sworn that they did one for some reason, at least with the Skyrim release, like that chapter, but maybe I'm wrong, because it looks like the next one, there was one in 2019 about dragons. Yeah, dragons in the Second Era. That was the last one. The one following that was in 2021, and it was about Lyranth. But yeah, there is a Q&A that's community lore questions about dragons in the Second Era, and then there's a Murkmire Q&A part 1 and part 2. So those are pretty
Every
fun.
once in a while.
Yeah, if you go to... Go ahead.
I thought you were like searching the way shrine thing when you said that initially.
That's what I thought too.
Oh my gosh.
Like, really? Already?
Oh my gosh. I would totally, I will probably have UESP open as soon as we're done with the show. Because I do want to see if anybody has ever asked that. But no, I was referring to the actual Lore Masters archive. You can go to elderscrollsonline.com, and in the search tab you can type in Lore Masters archive, and it will pull everything that's ever had that as a title. So you can go back and reread stuff there, which is fun if you've not seen some of those or gotten to read some of them. And it's fun to go through and look at the questions that people submit too, even if they don't get used. Just to go back into the forums and kind of dig into some of those questions and see where people's brains are at from a lore perspective is pretty fun.
Agreed. I liked reading everyone's questions when they were submitting them, and it's good to and it's interesting to see like what questions actually end up getting answered to compared to what all's asked.
Yep. And that's it for lore.
Yeah.
We're also rolling up on another deadline for something else that we've been talking about, which is getting pretty exciting.
Hey, Khajiit, you want to talk about that?
The housing contest?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing. Good job.
Okay.
You did it.
Well, you know,
Did it without notes.
Yeah, I mean, I have notes. I have them, but yeah. So yeah, we have a housing contest going. If you have a Snugpod, then you can decorate it however you see fit, and any theme you want to go with doesn't have to remain in the Wood Elf theme. We've got some entries already that completely change the inside of this place.
Oh yeah.
Then decorate your Snugpod and get that into us. So we have a channel set up in our Discord. We'll talk about how to get into that here shortly. But you can also did we set up any other means of submissions for those outside of the Lore Seekers? Twitter?
I think
they could tweet us. As
Yeah.
long as they let us know who
I would say-
Snugpod we're looking at.
Yeah, as long as they can either send us a tweet, you can even DM us on Twitter if that's easier for you, or you could also go ahead and use our email. If you email snugpodcast@gmail.com with your PlayStation, network name and whatnot, so that we can find you. you can absolutely do it that way. I'll go ahead and throw that stuff up on the Twitter probably tomorrow, just as like a last reminder, because I feel like at this point, if you have known about the contest, you're probably a listener. I did post about it a few times on Twitter, but yeah, we can get you all set up with that, because I think right now you'd have a pretty darn good chance with the entries, because I feel like we only have about 4 entries at the moment.
Yep.
So it's open to everybody, though. Of course, by the time this episode drops, it will probably be closed, but if you hear it and it's still pretty close to the 21st, we might give you a little extra time.
Especially if you absolutely amaze us with your Snugpod.
Yeah, so...
I walk in there, and I'm just like, oh, this is definitely more than just a tree. Okay, yeah, this person's definitely entered. We're good.
Yeah. So be sure to, if you're interested in that, be sure to, email us at snugpodcast@gmail.com, or send us a DM on Twitter at snugpodcast. Or, of course, if you're already in the Lore Seekers Guild with us on Discord, and you're on PlayStation NA, because that is where these prizes will be from. This is a PlayStation NA contest this time around. You can post in our Snugpod contest channel that we have there.
Yep. And
and we'll...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll go ahead and pin your name to the top of the channel so that we can keep track of who has entries.
Yep. And our grand prize, and maybe our only prize if we don't have enough entries to justify more prizes, we have a torchbug pet that was donated by the one and only Caddy Jacks. And so yeah, if you get your entries in, we are still working out the details on the voting system and how we're going to get that done, but pretty close to having that finished up, I think. But the winner's going to get a torchbug pet, and if we get enough entries, then we may do some gold prizes or some furnishing prizes or something to go along with that. So definitely get those in. If you are really, really good at housing and you're just now hearing about this, then if you can get it to us before we shut it down, you don't have a Snugpod, you can pick the Snugpod up for like 45,000 gold in game. It's pretty cheap. It's a good house to have because it puts you right next to a way shrine and
Master Writ drop off.
The Master Writ drop off.
Master Writ drop off, Undaunted Quarters,
and Thieves. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's the little thieves thing over there, and it's staggering, and it's right next to a horse stables, and it's staggering distance from a tavern. It's right over there. You can see it outside the window. It's great.
Outlaw's Refuge. That's the word I was looking for. Right? That's what they call that.
Yeah, it's underneath the tavern.
Yeah.
Come on, sneaky Khajiit.
Yeah. Well, I am a good, honorable Khajiit.
I know that ain't true. I watched you pickpocket tons of people in Vardenfell.
Pixar didn't happen.
I have not seen that, so I can't back you up. I've seen him jump on mushrooms in Vardenfell.
It was that same night.
Yeah, well.
See, he even admitted it.
I suppose that just a quick trip to the guild house and seeing all of the posters that I have that can only be acquired by stealing them from the guards' pockets.
Well, there's that.
Probably. But that could have been that could have been a different Khajiit. I do have another one, so I should have 2 more.
You could have bought them from a guild trader. I don't know.
It's possible. But anyway, yeah. So get submissions in, and we'll have that'll be wrapping up soon, and we'll be announcing a winner. Will that be on the next show?
Probably not on the next show, but maybe on the one after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the end
of July for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Man, this time is just going by so quick.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else?
Just another couple quick reminders. We've got some guild events going on every Monday. We have Moki's fishing event. She's doing a great job at working her way through the different zones for fishing stuff, if you want to get that Master Angler achievement. They group usually around 7:30-ish or 8-ish on Monday nights.
EST
And,
for
yeah.
EDT right now, technically.
Yes, technically EDT at this moment. And she has also put up in the guild store some of the fishing food, things like that, super cheap to help out with the fishing. So go ahead, hop on in there, have some fun, relax, chat with guildies. Other things to do with guildies during the week, we do have a reminder for Treacherous Tuesdays, which is when we encourage people to group up and do dungeon running, but we do know that a majority of our guild right now usually isn't available on Tuesdays, but they do group up later on in the week, like happened with us yesterday. So
It's more
still
of a reminder,
a reminder,
like, hey,
yeah.
we're here, we want to help each other with story mode if you want to run a dungeon.
Yeah. So Treacherous Tuesdays, that's what we call those. And then we're working on maybe for the future, since, you know, it's 1:45 EDT and I'm still awake hanging out with these buddies. Maybe we're
you're
going
a
to do
crazy
like
person.
I know. When do I sleep? I'm not sure. But anyway, we're working on a Midnight Mayhem, maybe, sort of thing, or working on getting something going with like a really, maybe on a weekend, like a late night fun thing to do as a group. So that, maybe look for some more details for that coming up in the future. But where can they find us on social media if they want to catch up with us or hang out with us any of those other places?
Well, if you want to join the guild, then what you need to do is head over to loreseekerseso.org.
You did it!
Did it blind. Did it blind.
Proud of you.
I'm getting good at this. I'm a pro. Loreseekerseso.org. That is our guild application website. There's an apply to guild button there, and you click that, and it will take you to a brief little. Well, you have to download Discord if you don't have that, obviously. But it's going to take you in to fill out a brief application, which is just a way of us kind of getting an idea of the type of gamer you are and whether or not this is the right guild for you. And once you've done that, we have some great people over in the Discord that check those applications pretty frequently and are good about getting those things processed and approved. And then within a day or so of approval, we should be able to have you an invite sent in game. And then outside of Discord, you can join us, or you can catch us on Twitter at A Snugpod Cast, or is it just Snugpod Cast or A Snugpod? Help me out here.
Yeah, it's the @ symbol and then Snug Podcast, all one word.
Yeah. So that's Twitter, and the Gmail is snugpodcast@gmail.com. Did I say the Twitter is that? The email is that? Wow.
You said the email is that.
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm forgetting what I'm saying because I'm trying to think over what I'm... Anyway, forgive me, guys.
You're doing so good.
Thanks. It's so kind of you. Twitter, email. What else we got?
Twitch, where we're at right now in our cozy little snug pod.
Here we are.
Twitch.tv/snugpodcast. That's where we're broadcasting from. We're broadcasting here and also on YouTube at the Snug Podcast channel. So, you know, I don't know that you want to stare at the three of us just sitting here under this EP banner and AD banner and, you know, everything else, this griffin head that looks like it's about to eat me. But if you did, you could go to either one of those places and check the videos out, or join us live if you're awake.
You can. We have a little sitting area over there for a live audience. It's fluffy with pillows and there's books.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pan the camera around to show that off a little bit.
Here, I'll go walk over there on Twitch. Yeah, we got. Oh wait, that's where the merchant is. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
that's the coffee bar.
I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot.
We also have a coffee bar, so
yeah.
You know you can come in and get some Tamrielic coffee. Yeah.
We'll move the bear so that his booty isn't in the way at the coffee bar eventually.
Bear
yes.
When Sasquatch is here, there's no bear butt in the coffee bar.
And if you need to like cook yourself a snack, we have the cooking and chanting and alchemy.
We're
conveniently right by the Master Writ guy for your consumable Master
We're full service Snugpod.
Full service Snugpod. So yeah, but that's the places that you can find us.
Yep.
So.
And if you don't want to or cannot, for whatever reason, watch us, you can check us out on podcast forums through Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I think is probably the biggest one for us. And Stitcher, I think, has us, as well as a handful or several others. I would imagine if you're using one of the major podcast apps, you will probably find us on it. If not, and you would like us to be on there, reach out to us, and we will see about how we can make that happen. And shouldn't be too big a deal. But that is it. You can definitely check us out on video or on audio, whichever is your preferred method of consuming such content.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that is a wrap.
I think so.
Or
We'll see
should
you
we try
next
to
time.
wrap?
No.
Nope. We shouldn't. Nope.
No, not even about our bear. That's right, there with all its hair.
Okay.
All
bear.
right.
There's no bear. The bear is
You
alive.
just made Gwen. You just made Gwen stand up and actually remove the bear from the Snugpod. Wow. Wow.
Somebody's got to do it, I guess. And I will be the villain. I don't know. Anyway, well, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and however you chose to do so. And I'm having arrows shot at me now, so we're gonna call it quits there. Thanks for watching or listening, and we hope you have a wonderful week. And for those of you on console, just a few more days, and we get to go and get high at Isle.
Woohoo! So excited.
So
To sail for high. Woo! Thank you for tuning in. Good night.